Ajarn Tum, please. Right. So what does the future of finance in Southeast Asia actually looks like, right? This region is moving fast, mobile first, community driven, and full of opportunities. Last session, like I said, we heard great minds was talking about mining. That's another way to earn bitcoins. Okay, but if you're not ready today, there are 2 Bitcoin ATM boxes outside. You can get it today. All right, you have 20 baht, you own Bitcoins. You've got 40 baht, you own Bitcoin. It's just so simple, right? So the technology is right here in our doorsteps already.
We've actually recently implemented prompt pay and true money into it. So even if you don't have cash on you, you can still buy Bitcoin instantly, no KYC.
Oh, wow, wow. Thank you.
Wait. Is this being broadcasted?
Right, thank you. I saw you were checking out something outside just now.
Yeah.
And sorry to steal you from your conversation. And Ajarn Tum today with us, is such a great opportunity. So if you have any questions in mind, he's here now. It would be hard after today to reach him. All right, so prepare for your questions. And so the real question is, you see, who will shape that future, right? Is it going to be, do we need technology, or do we need governments, or is it communities, or is it just simple people like us? And more importantly, how do you, the young generation, fit in that financial future in order to unlock your financial freedom? All right? And to explore this, I've got 2 voices who are deeply building in this space, from financial education to community-driven powered system. And you've met Ajarn Piriya Sampantharak. Before this, he's been with us. He's been on here, on this stage quite often. So this man doesn't need introduction anymore. When he goes to places, he never needs to introduce himself. Everyone knows him. And also we have Dia, the community master of Southeast Asia for Fedi as well. So the first question. By the way, I'd like you all to join me in asking questions as well. When you have questions, just raise your hand, all right? The 2 great minds are here, and they only give us 30 minutes, so we must make the most of it, okay? Ajarn Tum, could you tell me and the young people in this room here a bit about what RightShift does, and more importantly, what kind of impact it's creating for the future of finance for the people in Southeast Asia?
Okay, thank you. RightShift is something that happened organically, right? So at the beginning, I was just doing YouTube shows. I was going around teaching people about Bitcoin just because it turns out that once you understand Bitcoin, just like what Jimmy said earlier this morning, once you understand Bitcoin, you just cannot stop thinking about it. And there's never a day when you...
Is that good?
I don't know. It's some sort of contagion, It's infectious.
Are you ready for that?
Yeah, it's infectious because once you understand how the world works, once you understand how money works, and how these, contraptions of the monetary systems is basically stealing money from you, right? It's stealing the hard work that you put in. It's stealing your savings, and there's no way to get out of it. You just can't stop thinking about that, and then you end up talking about it all the time, boring the people around you. So I took up to YouTube. Because when you talk to a camera, the camera doesn't get bored. And,
right.
Yeah. So that's the beginning of the show. Then a few years after that, we have some fans of the show who got into Bitcoin for 4 or 5 years. They started showing up and wanted to help. So we found RightShift. which is a company that just wants to do just that. We want to educate. We want to help people understand, help people to come to that point where they can get Bitcoin, right? I think people have different touch point. I have a distinct style of delivery that is, you know, that would resonate with a certain group of people, but not every group of people. Maybe I'm not good at talking to like university students. I mean, maybe I need someone younger than me to do it that has like a bit more of touch point. So the whole right shift grows into like, we want to create different voices, different modes, different kind of educational material and resources for Thai people to be able to discover and learn about Bitcoin at their own pace without being like, we're not selling anything, right? I mean, we sell books, but yeah. We're not selling any investment program. We just write books, we do shows, we do interviews, we do classes, we do courses. We do everything we can to help Thai people become aware of what's going on. Yeah.
Right. And this is YouTube channel. What's the name of the channel?
The channel started as a show on my other company's channel. I also run another company called CDC Shalok.com, which is a trading investment advisory kind of company.
Right.
Right. So it started as a show on that channel. Then it forked off and has become just right shift. The show is Bitcoin Talk.
Okay, and right now is still
I'm still doing Bitcoin Talk once every 2 weeks on Monday.
on Monday. Is it live?
It's live Monday evening, once every 2 weeks. We have show on CDC channel every other week.
Right. Okay, and the other channel?
The other channel is CDC.
CDC.
CDC Shalok.com is my father's channel. That we would talk about. We mostly talk about
CDC.
Dhamma, like the Buddhist teaching, stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. And what kind of? I'll get to you in a moment. What kind of impact are you looking in building the future
tremendous.
of finance?
Yes.
Through this channel.
Let's just say
generation.
what we have seen over the past few years is we have seen communities grow up. Right? We've seen communities sprouted up all over Thailand. We see BLC, right? There's a community here in Chiang Mai. It's very active. We see Sideway Tinger, Jele. You see all these different groups of people doing their own thing, and everything just started with what we do. So, and that's actually our goal. We don't want to like hog all of this for ourselves. We want everyone to pitch in and do their own part. We have Wellbe who goes around like documenting every shop that accepts Lightning, and we want more of that. Right? We want everyone to join in and just find ways to give value back to the community.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I can see a bright future ahead of Right Shift. Right. And Dia, come back to Dia. So please tell me again. We met yesterday, but please remind me again and tell these young people, young bright people in this room, what Fedi does and what kind of impact are you creating for the future of finance for these people in this room?
Yeah, so thank you, Jackie, for inviting me for this event. And maybe people heard a nice presentation this morning. So Fedi is basically, it's a Bitcoin wallet, but it's also a community app. Because like when we talk about money, when we talk about finance, you cannot take away from the community, because that's like the soul of, let's say, transaction and where the money is circulated, right? Like we have like that activity. So Fedi, basically it's a Bitcoin private wallet that has chat, mini apps, and also privacy in mind, but also powered by the community. So my job as a community master is basically going around different places in Southeast Asia and see like what is exactly the community needs, like be on the ground and see how an app like Fedi can help them in growing their community or even connect with each other, but in more private ways. Yeah.
Right, I see. Have you used Fedi before? Has anyone used Fedi? Right, right, okay. And if young people in this room would like to download or install Fedi, how do they search?
You guys can go to the Google Play Store or App Store and click Fedi. In there, you have like many function. Like you can, it's like a chat app, so you can chat with other members. But also you can send money, you can send Bitcoin through other member via chat. You can also, most people like, okay, hey, I have Bitcoin, then what I can do next, right? Like you don't, probably like you store it, but there's actually 1,000 ways that you can do with Bitcoin. You can use AI, you can play games, you can also like exchange your Bitcoin for like, Grab voucher or Shopee Pay. There is a lot of services that also connected within the Fedi app that you can use. And you can also create your own community page inside of Fedi. So like, let's say, some of you probably, I don't know, love K-pop and then wants to create a K-pop page. You can also do that inside of the Fedi app. So it's more like, hey, you can use Bitcoin as payment, but also you can connect with your friends, your community, and also create your own page inside there so then people can get connected.
Wow, it's like a super app.
It's
right?
kind of like super app, yeah.
It's like a super app. Wow, you should try. You should try. And if you download now, let us know. Okay, let us know your experience, and we can officially welcome you to your first step into the future of finance and financial freedom as well. Right, the next question. In this region, Southeast Asia is such a diverse region, isn't it? So like this morning, we had students from 3 nationalities who is here to perform, and also this university has students from abroad, from many countries, including Chiang Mai University as well, where they have international college. There are students from around the world with different nationalities to come here, especially the students from this region, Southeast Asia. In your opinion, what gives this region an edge when it comes to the future of finance compared to places like America or in Europe? Ajarn Tum?
That's a tough question.
Right.
No, I mean,
What advantage do we have over countries in America?
I don't know if this is an advantage or not, but like the lack of, complicated and strict infrastructure kind of allows for, this transition into a new infrastructure easier, right? So this is what we've seen. We don't have to even talk about Bitcoin, right? In our region, in Southeast Asia, we have QR payments way before they do in the US. And partly that's because we don't have all these cumbersome regulations and system in place. So we just develop this new thing, and people can just leapfrog everything and just use this, right? Southeast Asia has been behind on a lot of things. It's a region with that's this quiz I saw online the other day. They split the world into quadrants and ask where do you want to be, and everyone choose this Southeast Asia quadrant because this is where we have the best food.
Oh.
Right? Because, I mean, honestly, if you look at the other quadrant, you have like England, which is inedible.
Yeah, really boring. Really boring food.
Right. But at the same time, I don't know if it's the geography or like something. We haven't progressed much in financial business world as much. So, but that also leaves a room for us to just leapfrog everything into the new systems
Right.
if we can take the chance.
For the first time, lacking is good.
Yeah, and if I can add, like, so my husband is American, so I just came to the U.S. and I found like American right now is much more behind than Southeast Asia in terms of
Really?
mobile adoption. Yeah, because like what Piriya said, we are kind of skip the the check, the credit card system, the whole banking system. We suddenly move towards the QR payment, from like regular banking through like more digital native payment system like the QR system. So what I found out, like whenever we do session with either Bitcoiner or like students, people in Southeast Asia, they tend to get Bitcoin payments really easily than most people in the Western world because all the young people here in Southeast Asia, like they are digital native, right? Like they play TikTok, they use their phone more regularly. So QR payment it's essentially like what Bitcoin do is you are using scan, you are sending payment digitally. It's much more accepted than people in the U.S. or in the Western world because for them they see it as a more on a store of value. But like in Southeast Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, we see Bitcoin become more dynamic, not only just using as store of value, but also as payment.
Also, I want to add on like the more macro side. Southeast Asian is mostly, a manufacturer, an export country. We sell stuff, right? We sell things. We sell commodities. The problem with that is we live in a world where countries developed countries selves they export inflation. So we sell stuff for cheap. The money that we get debased. So what happens is that it's not really that we are selling commodities. It's more like we're being robbed, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So this is where Bitcoin comes in. We can still be selling commodities just as we are. But now we have an option to save in something that cannot get debased. Once you sell, you're making money. And if you can keep that money, you can grow power in the region like never before. Because before this, we have no chance of like standing up to more developed economies because they're basically buying stuff from us with money they printed out of thin air.
That's our advantage. That is our advantage. I can, like Ajarn Piriya just said about inflation. If you don't, if you don't understand inflation, for example, if does anyone want an ice cream in this room? Who wants an ice cream? Raise your hands, please. Oh, there are people who want ice cream. Okay, I can give you ice cream, but before I give you ice cream, I like to take 2 scoops out of your ice cream. Is it okay? No, it's not okay, right? That's what happened with inflation. They take scoops of the hard-earned money that you earn every time. You don't get it all. You don't get everything you earn. And another thing I think it's an advantage here as well is that, we ran out of time. We're running out of time. Another advantage I think around here for Southeast Asia, especially in Thailand as well, we have internet everywhere. Internet's everywhere. My friend was texting me in the middle of the sea. He was on the boat from the mainland to an island, and there was an internet. That's amazing. That's amazing. Right, let's move on. Well, I like to look into the future, like 5 years, 10 years from now. How do you see Bitcoin and decentralized technologies fitting into everyday life of people in Southeast Asia. Ajarn Tum, do you see Bitcoin standard becomes reality in 5 to 10 years?
Well, not to break your bubbles, but no, not in 5 to 10 years. But here's my reason. The way I do Bitcoin education is I want to spread Bitcoin knowledge to like everyone, grassroots people, normal people, right? But at the same time, you have to understand that there's a concept of an economic node, right? For Bitcoin to be widely accepted for business transaction, day-to-day transaction, so that people can start pricing things in Bitcoin, saving in Bitcoin, like they don't have to think anything about it. You have to have people accepting Bitcoin first, right?
Right.
Yeah. Money, the choice of money relies more on the people accepting payment than people wanting to pay. If you have maybe XYZ coin, but the seller doesn't want to accept that coin, then it's worthless. Right? In that transaction, it's worthless. So right now, we're not seeing that yet. But what I'm hopeful for is that all these years I've been trying to do all this Bitcoin education is I try to get in the minds of not just the grassroots, not just the normal people, but also like these institutions, large companies. What I've seen is a growth in the number of Bitcoiners in these positions, as well as like younger Bitcoiners, their sons, their kids, their daughters, growing up to become executives in these institutions. And once you start seeing these big business, you have to accept that big business will always exist, right? Once you start seeing these businesses wanting to accept Bitcoin, then that's the part where we get to like mass adoption. But to get to that part, we have to be patient, and there's no reason not to, be a first mover, be an early adopter, so that once that day come, you'll be positioned in a well-advantaged position. Yeah. So for a world Bitcoin standard, I think it's gonna take a bit longer. I've always said in all of my interview that it's gonna take Bitcoin about 30 to 35 years to get to that point, and right now we're at 17 years. We're already halfway, so it's just a bit more.
17 years, and Bitcoin still with us.
Yeah.
And it's only gets stronger.
It's more like a Lindy effect thing too. I mean, if Bitcoin survived for 30 years, no one's going to question its survivability for another 30 years. Business can start accepting or consider accepting Bitcoin then. If it survives for 50 years, no one's going to question its validity anymore. So just being able to survive through the years is the most important thing that would lead to adoption.
Right.
Yeah. And for me, like from our experience, what we see on Fedi is that community can help for that transition to happen. Like there is this concept, what we call the Bitcoin circular economy, right? And with the community that we work closely, like in Indonesia, for example, of course, this is still like an experiment, like how we can try to create the economy based on Bitcoin. What community can play a role in here? What if like a community starts selling their products and service in Bitcoin within the community member? So for example, if someone is, they have a coffee shop, and then they know someone, also a community member who sell coffee beans, so they can create this supply chain within the community and pay it in SAT, and therefore, this is like some kind of a transition way, like how suddenly Bitcoin can be accepted, even in a smaller community setting. That can also happen through Bitcoin. Like these experiments happen in little places, like in Indonesia, like in Peru, with all the community that we work closely with in Fedi. So. I mean, I agree with Piriya, like maybe not in 5 to 10 years, but with this little experiment, the community can grow, and then people will start using Bitcoin, and then start get familiar using Bitcoin and see the value. If they store their income in Bitcoin, then they can see that, oh, okay, like it's much better than storing it in fiat.
throughout the day, and especially in this session, I have heard a lot of things that only Bitcoin can do. So if you haven't got your first Bitcoin or your first SAT, what is that? What is that? Could you?
Well, if Bitcoin is baht, then SAT is stang.
There you go.
Yeah, I like to make that analogy because they have the same like initial, the same abbreviation, B and S. Yeah, but yeah, it's just a smaller unit of Bitcoin.
Exactly. So buy your first small unit of Bitcoin today and watch it. Watch it grow. That is how to unlock the future of your finance. All right. Okay. One last quick question. One last quick question. What is the one thing, only one thing, short one, would you like the young generation in this room to take away from this event?
Well, it's kind of like the thing with we're facing today with AI, is that these are inevitable. I'm not saying that that Bitcoin is inevitable, even though I believe so, but when things are like this, it doesn't have to be like you don't have to go and buy Bitcoin immediately, but you need to learn. Right? You need to learn not just about Bitcoin, but about money in general.
Right.
We live in a world where money is essentially broken. It's breaking at a record pace, and it's done so much damage to the world over the past 50 years. And if you don't know how that works, it's like you're going about your life blind, right? So what I make it, the one thing I make it a point to leave for every talk I go is that no matter what you do, even if you don't agree with Bitcoin, you have to study and learn how money works, right? How money printing works, how inflation works, how these, increasing of money supplies actually robbing your savings, and how are you going to, mitigate that? That's the most important thing. And if the answer for you is Bitcoin, then we're probably on the same page. If it's not, still good. It can be gold, it can be real estate, it can be whatever. But the first thing you have to do is to get off fiat. And for Bitcoin, the best thing you can do, there's probably no right answer, right? But the worst thing you can do is to have no Bitcoin.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And dear, one short thing.
Just connecting to what Piriya said, connect with your community locally, right? Like you guys are in Chiang Mai, we have the Bitcoin Learning Center. This is a good place for you to continue your education. Go subscribe to RightShift. There's a lot of community out there that can help you to learn. I feel there's a lot of value of being connected to the right community to help you to understand where this world is heading.
And this is how we grow into the future of financial freedom together. Thank you so much, Ajarn Piriya and Dia, for joining me in this session. And thank you everyone.